Boxing Truth here, back with another video. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. Alright, this is like the third time I'm trying to make this video. I tried to do a fifth and sixth round film study to show how Judge Tim Chatham fucked up. Nelson Vasquez was bought off, so he's not even going to be included. Steve Weisfeld only gave one of those rounds to Castano. The point is, Castano clearly won those rounds and should have been awarded a unanimous decision victory. Really should be regarded as the undisputed junior middleweight champion of the world. Well, that was predictable. It was really the most logical outcome when you think about it. Castano's been in controversial decision before, received a draw against Lara in a fight that he clearly won. Even when he clearly wins a fight, he still gets the short end of the stick against these highly regarded PBC fighters when he is the B side of the promotion. And again, it struck here as Castano, clearly the superior fighter here, was not awarded the decision victory that he should have gotten. Now all you got to do is watch rounds 5 and 6. You can give Charlo the last 3 rounds if you want. That's all what the judges scored here. Every judge gave him the last 3 rounds. I don't agree with that. I felt Castano did enough in the 11th round after getting hurt in the 10th round, which was one of the only 2 clear rounds Charlo won throughout the whole night. The rounds where he hurt Castano. It's debatable. You can argue that Castano won the 11th. And the 12th round was close, but I actually gave that round to Charlo because it was the most consistent round he had throughout the whole fight. It was the only round where he threw more punches and was consistent with his offense, where he was just trying to land something. A lot of the shots Charlo threw was blocked by Castano's gloves, which made a lot of his offensive work very ineffective. But, you know, Charlo really didn't have to do much to win rounds. All he had to do was throw more punches, a few more punches, and not perform as badly as he did in the preceding round. And Nelson Vasquez would automatically give him that 10-9. All he had to do was just not get his ass whooped. For Castano to win a round on Nelson's card, and it's unreal. A Puerto Rican brother really scored this fight this way. Definitely had it been bought, man. He only gave him 3 rounds. Rounds where he really put a whooping on Jermell. But if he didn't put a whooping on Jermell, he wouldn't give him those rounds. Charlo would just have to avoid getting seriously hurt or getting whooped. And he already had the round in the bag for Nelson Vasquez. My man just didn't watch the fight, bro. He was bought off. Is what it is. Puerto Rican, Latino brother robbing Castano like that, man. Robbing him of his glory. All that hard work that he put in, the years that he spent in this division to prove that he was the best. And this is his only chance, really, to secure an undisputed outcome, because as a result of this draw, the title belts could well be fractured apart because there are mandatory defenses that are overly due, but it's going to be hard to see PBC actually fulfilling those requests. Are they really going to go through with a IBF mandatory defense for Charlo against an unknown Russian guy that's managed by Igor Klimas? I mean, who's going to want to watch that fight? Is Heyman really going to throw money at that fight and waste his time and put on a fight that there's no demand or really makes anybody do any serious business? It's only a favor to that Russian fighter that's currently the mandatory for the IBF strap. There are mandatory defenses due. Tim Tszyu is going to be knocking on the door. It looks like that mandatory defense will be enforced. Of course, Tszyu will try to use his power and try to bring that WBO title fight to Australia. If that happens, if they don't come to terms or make a deal It's a possibility Castano vacates the WO strap in order to not have to go through with a Australian title defense, and instead will be thrown more money to fight Charlo again. It really is a question. It becomes a question of whether will the WO allow these. Would they allow an exemption for Castano, considering he should be the undisputed champion of the world? He'll get another opportunity for a chance to put another L on Jermell's resume, and will the IBF follow suit? They're very strict as well when it comes to those mandatory defenses. So a lot of questions surrounding mandatory title defenses. Will the sanctioning bodies actually grant another exemption for both fighters to get another second crack for undisputed? We already know who's the best at 54. Castano should be undisputed champion right now. Should have left that ring with all them straps. I mean, he put it all together, man. Absolutely embarrassed Jermell, as I predicted. Won 7 straight rounds after the second round. And it's just unfortunate that Castano got caught with that left hook in the second round. I mean, it would have been 9 straight rounds he would have won, because he was starting to cut the distance and starting to pressure and land some big shots on Jermell. And Jermell, all he really had was a puncher's chance in this fight, and he still couldn't put the boy from Argentina down. Still couldn't put him down. Castano recovered relatively quickly and put a whooping on Jermell in the preceding round, in the very next round, the third round, and he did a lot of good work in the 11th round. But Charlo stole it with like 2 solid shots and 20 seconds of work. That's all he had to do to win rounds that night, man. He didn't have to do much. He just didn't have to get his ass whooped or thoroughly dominated, and Nelson Vasquez would have gave him that round, that 10-9 round in the bag. It's a damn shame Vasquez was bought off, man. Robbed his Latino brother and Castano. You know, didn't do the right thing. Didn't even bother to turn in an honest scorecard. It's unreal that the American judges actually scored a closer fight compared to the Puerto Rican judge. This was supposed to be the guy that was supposed to back Castano up. Instead, Nelson didn't even bother to watch the fight. A lot of questions going forward. Will there be an immediate rematch? Will all the titles be at stake? It's hard to see either of these guys making mandatory defenses where one guy may have to go to Australia, another guy may have to fight an unknown Russian fighter that doesn't do any business. Will any network even be interested in airing that fight or buying that fight? Will the sanctioning bodies grant another exemption for a second crack at undisputed, even though we already know who the undisputed champion at 54 is? Can Tim Tszyu beat Brian Castano? Will Brian Castano vacate the WO strap? Will he finally get a fair shake in the rematch? Can Jermell Charlo make any adjustments? Those are the questions, man. We're going to have to wait for the answers. Maybe Jermell doesn't want the rematch. Maybe he does. But he knows he lost that fight this past Saturday night. The whole world knows who won this fight. Everybody knows. Tim Chandham knows. Unreal, he gave both of those rounds. Rounds 5 and 6 to Jermell. All you gotta do is watch those rounds, and you'll know who is a true undisputed 54-pound champion. Brian Castano from Argentina, as I stated for the past couple of years. He was the best, and he proved it this past Saturday night. Now he's gonna have to do it again, most likely. And most likely we'll get the same result. This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.